When I was a young teenager in 2003, TaylorMade released the R510 TP Driver, and all the tour players were using this. The Assistant Pro and the Pro were using it, the low handicappers were using it at the club, and I dreamt about having this driver, but I just weren't a good enough golfer. But I've been on eBay and I've been looking for one of these drivers, and I didn't want to pay a great deal for one. They've been going for sort of £60, and you know, I'm going to be honest, I'm from Yorkshire, I'm a little bit tight, I didn't want to pay that kind of money. So I saved the search and I waited and waited, and one came up at $39.99 and I had to buy it because this was my dream driver in 2003. I weren't a good enough golfer to have one. I think I had the Great Big Bertha 2 at the time, which were a little bit more intermediate and easier to hit. But I picked one up and I'm going to put it head to head with my gamer, which is the Stealth 2. It's a few years old, but it was fully custom fitted. And I've cranked my Stealth 2 down to 8.5. So this is a bit of a like for like comparison. We've got 8.5 degree heads, we've got stiff shafts. Although my TaylorMade is weighted, to me at the time, when this 510 came out, this would be as probably optimized as it could be. You know, it's the right shaft flex, it's the right loft. And that's as much technology as they had back then. I mean, it's the lower spinning shaft, which would be my preference. And I would say I'm a good enough golfer to use it now. So we're going to see how much golf clubs have really come on in 21 years and whether this R510 could be an option. Let's get stuck in. So we've got the Swing Caddy SG4, which is voiced, so it's going to give us some distances, which will be kind of good for our comparison. But first impressions, I mean, I can tell I've got a premium club in my hand. Obviously got the TP shaft, the lambkin grip, and it's quite a small compact head. It's definitely more appealing to the better player. It's got that really, really deep face and small head. And it does look appealing, to be honest. It does actually look quite nice to address. It doesn't put too much fear in me. Obviously, I played in the era where, you know, this were a giant driver. You know, we went from sort of like small steelhead Callaway clubs to these were the giants, weren't they, at the time? What's it feel like? I mean, it sounded amazing. It got a really nice feel and sound and feedback, but it's only gone 251 yards. I mean, I can hit a good 3-wood sort of about 230 these days. And again, that's come off really hot. 269. My current gamer goes between about 275 and 300 yards. See if we can get a really big one. That were a real miss it. I've teed this up just a little bit higher because it's a hell of a deep face. Oh, that's monstered. That's the best I'm going to hit today. At a swing speed 109, 14.9 launch and carrier 276. I don't think I'm going to get any more optimal numbers than that. That's going to be the max I can carry this driver. So I've just put a PXG mini driver in the bag. And quite funny enough, these are going about the same distance. So I'm just going to show you the difference in head. So the PXG mini driver, it's almost like a giant 3-wood. It's a lot shallower face. It's not as deep, but because it's got more loft, it's actually, when you put it down behind the ball, it looks a lot more appealing and a lot easier to hit. I would say, I mean, if you look at from the top, they're not too dissimilar in size, are they? So it is just the depth of the face and the loft that's the difference. But I would definitely say, if I had to pick one of these two out of the bag, I would go for the mini driver for that sort of 275, 280 yard shot off the tee, just because it appeals a bit more. It looks a little bit easier to hit because you've got the loft. Right, one more. I don't think we're going to beat that 276 yards. That were my absolute ultimate best. It does need to be teed up really high. And again, another good strike. 272. I'm really going to be busting it. I'm just going to hit one with a mini driver, actually. It is quite a blustery day, but just to sort of get an idea on sort of distance and whether there's any similarity. And then we're going to finish off with my gamer and just really see how much technology has brought the game on distance wise. This is teed a lot lower. I just feel there's a lot more control with this already. And that's absolutely monstered. 265, so not quite as fought. Similar sort of numbers though. Let me show you these. So even though Mini Driver's got more loft, because we've teed it down lower, it's launched similar. I've not swung it as quick because it's a slightly shorter shaft, only 106, but 265 carry. So can an old club do the same job as a Mini Driver? Potentially. I mean, not for me personally. I like the extra forgiveness that I feel like I've got with the Mini Driver. I feel a lot more control with it. I mean, if you're looking at just numbers on good shots, then it's similar, but it's the miss-its, isn't it? I feel a lot more confident with the Mini Driver. I mean, I've been playing with that and don't feel like I've got so much of a miss-it in the bag, where, let's put it like this, I'd rather hit my own current gaming driver than the old driver, but I'd rather hit the Mini Driver than this driver. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's an experiment I've always wanted to do, but it isn't quite as good at performing. And that, in fairness, that weren't a very good strike. That's only gone 274 yards, 109 club speed, 14 launch, so exactly the same numbers. Oh, that's monstered. I'm going to have to show you this one. That's bizarre. I mean, it is a blustery day, but that's my Sunday best. And it only went 279 carry. Similar numbers again, 14 launch, 109 spin. So we're getting a good consistent launch and consistent swing speed. But yeah, I'm surprised. So it's starting to make me think, maybe the old drivers can get distance if you hit them well. It's more the miss-its, it's more the drop-offs. And like when you don't hit the sweet spot that these newer modern drivers, you don't lose ball speed across the face as much. And you just generally get more forgiveness, than you do on the older drivers. But actually, when you catch a really good drive with both clubs, there's not as much difference as you might imagine. That's monstered. 275. Right, last one. And what I don't feel with this is that I'm going to lose a great deal of distance on a miss it. That's monstered again. 280. So to conclude, that's been an absolutely fantastic test. I think what we've learned today is that the older drivers can perform, you can hit them a long way, but it's the drop-offs on the miss-its that you're going to sacrifice 20, 25 yards. But yeah, a shock to me. I was expecting to carry that an extra 25 yards, but actually on a good shot, probably 5 to 10 yards longer. Guys, hope you're enjoying the videos. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you in a couple of days' time. Bye.